Hi, I'm Michael Jordan with AB Friendly Company out of Cheyenne, Wyoming, and we're back down at the underground meadery. Uh, we're gonna make one that's kind of fun. My kids had a party, and there was some leftover stuff from the party, such as A&W root beer. I don't care what kind of root beer you use, dollar store, whatever, but we're gonna make a root beer mead. Uh, there's a lot of different kinds of stuff that can be done. You could get root and soak it and all this stuff to do it, but we're just going to do a regular root beer mead. This will be really fast, really fun, something really kind of easy to use. I'm going to show you some other stuff because we're doing this, but my kids had an extra bottle of 2 liters of root beer, so we're going to go ahead and make one. I'm drinking a strawberry grape. This was Welch's grape juice and frozen strawberries and 2 pounds of honey. It's got a really cool color to it. Smells really good like Welch's grape. Man, it's got some good legs on it. A little bitter. Uh, Grapes seem to be a little bit bitter. Yeah, on the back of your tongue. It's giving me a little saliva in the back end. Really nice. But let's go through everything. I'm using the coffee pot method as always. I've ran the water through it. If I'm using juices and stuff, I usually just put in the coffee pot and set it on the burner to get it warm. The reason we do that is so we can dissolve the honey and move as fast as we can. So I've got my jug. Remember, jug, keep your lids. There's a purpose for them. I've got a gallon of water. I got this from a dollar store. Just good, clean water. I've got 2 liters of A&W root beer. And I should have opened this up and let it breathe for at least 24 hours and let the carbonation go down. So hopefully we don't have a lot of carbonation when we're doing this. I'm using 2.5 pounds of AB Friendly Company Clover Honey. Red Star Premier Blanc yeast. Remember, contact them, tell them that we're using it. Maybe they'll give us a discount sometime, maybe give you a deal. My balloon for my airlock. My 1 gallon fermentation device, temperature gauge, hydrometer, tube for the hydrometer, scissors, pen. I mean, we should get started on this, right? So I'm going to take my 1 gallon fermentation device, open up my honey. Now, since we're beekeepers, we just refill jugs. As a permaculturist, recycle, reuse. When you pour it, give it a little height. So that way the honey doesn't build on top and roll over because the air is only going to come out. And when you're using small 1 gallon jugs, man, you will get the honey just kind of bubbled up at the top and it'll run down the outside of your jug and you'll have an awful mess. So that's one reason why I give it a little room. That way when the honey comes out like that, it doesn't make a big bubble in my jug and don't get honey running down the side. See how that would come out? I like the little plastic containers for refilling and reusing because I'm able to squeeze it to get the honey out. Now if you're using glass jugs, you got to take a little more time to get them out of the glass. Like if you're using a quart jar, a lot of people get their raw honey in a quart jar. So you're going to have to give yourself some time and some space so it'll run out. All right, remember to turn it and lift. That way you don't get honey running down the side and all over everything that you got, right? It makes it really good and easy. I'm going to go ahead and take my hot water, pour it in my container. I usually pour about a cup. Oh, wrong lid. Remember, that's why we keep our lids. I'm doing the shake, doing the drinking game. This is your opportunity to take a sip. Make sure all the honey's dissolved and out of there, right? That's the reason why we're doing that. I'm going to wash this with hot water, get it all cleaned up, reuse it again. I'm going to pour another cup of hot water in here. That's why we save our lids. See how the honey stuck to the bottom? Right? We're going to be using the hot water to kind of dissolve that. We're doing the shake. There's an opportunity for you to drink again. See, we don't want the honey stuck to the bottom. We want it all dissolved in a good water base. Now, the reason we're shaking this now and everything and not with the root beer in it, because like I said, I didn't open this up soon enough. Wasn't thinking about it at the time. But I was like, man, root beer, extra stuff when you use it. So I got my honey all dissolved in there. I'll pour my root beer in. Now I'm not going to fill it all the way up. But I am going to put my lid back on so I don't make a mess. And we're going to mix it in with that dissolved honey a little bit. Break down that carbonation. Now, if you tuned in before and saw us do the beer, it worked out really good. So it broke down really nice. See it wanting to rise, right? That's the carbonation. We're going to break down that carbonation again. There's your opportunity to drink. Right, that looks pretty good, right? You can see all the foam. It'll start settling out as we go here. Breaks that right back down. I'm liking that. You can just see it bubbling up really good, but you can see it already starting to settle out. Now, I use clover honey with this one. I think this would even be really good with a buckwheat honey or darker honey because you're using the A&W root beer or whatever root beer you're using. I'm not promoting anybody or anything, but I think a buckwheat honey would be pretty good in this one. Ooh, what a workout, huh? Lots of shaking going on. Lots of shaking. All right. Now you can see we just got a little carbonation hit on the top. All right, we'll give her another round here. So it's turning out really good. You can just watch it work and settle up. The stuff swirls around and it's super cool to watch. One reason why I like doing a chia seed one, because the chia seeds all move around in it. It's really kind of cool. All right. Looks like we only got a little bit of root beer left. This is one reason why I suggest you open it up and let the carbonation get out of it so you don't have all this foam. I got just a little bit I want to get in. There we go. Break that down just a little bit. Super cool about these. Wash it out, clean it up. I can bottle this in there. Save me bottling, right? Super good, right? I can always open this up, use it all up out of here, twist lock cap on it. Permaculture, recycle, reuse, right? So there's even my bottle for my stuff. So that's super cool. I'm gonna give this one more little shake, get every kind in there, make sure. Look at that, huh? But I am going to top it off with some water, right? Because we're going mostly for the flavor, then the soda pop. And I'm going to give this another shake, kind of help break that down a little bit more. Man, I'm liking this. This is looking pretty good. That's going to give me about my inch of headspace. So when the fermentation happens, it won't blow out everywhere. One reason for the balloons, right? Try to get as much liquid as I can and have the adjuncts go back in. Looks pretty good, looks pretty good. Remember, save your lids. So that's basically how we're making our root beer mead. Let's go ahead and take a hydrometer reading so we can get it on there. Take your time so you don't make a mess. There we go. Now as you see, I filled it up enough so the hydrometer can bounce and float in it. Don't fill all the way to the top because when your hydrometer goes in, it'll overflow, right? So I try to fill it up just a little more than 3/4 of my tube. Try to get 2 or 3 hydrometers just in case you drop and break one. Man, very nice, right? So I got my recipe right here. The root beer mead, 2 liters of root beer, 2.5 pounds of honey, water, the yellow pack yeast, right? Let's grab our starting gravity now. So we can add that to our thing. Spin here. Get all the bubbles off of it. 1.092. 1.092. That's going to be roughly, see, if we get that all the way fermented out, that's going to be about 12%. So that's Starting gravity is 12%. Let's go ahead and grab our temperature out of here. Remember, I always like my temperature at about 75. Remember, that also has to do with your altitude, climate, everything you gotta do. You should read your packs of yeast. Experiment a little bit. I like using the Red Star yeast because it seems to work the best, and it eats all the sugar. I can get up all my starting gravities up to 2.000, which is very high, and it still eats it all and gets me around 22 to 18% alcohol. Everything you're seeing here is roughly anywhere from 9 to 13%. Sometimes we push it up to 15% by adding a little more honey or a little bit more sugar additive. But for every pound of honey that you put in, you're roughly getting 5% alcohol. So that's kind of something to think about. And when you use yeast like this, it's going to eat all the sugar, so it's going to make it dry, and it's going to take all the flavor out of it. So sometimes you have to back flavor your flavors a little bit. We use 2.5 pounds of honey. I'd recommend even 3.5 to get a little sweeter, so you have a little more flavor to it. But if you like a good dry mead, this works out really good. Our temperature is 7.3. Pretty happy about that. Let's go ahead and add our Yellow Star yeast pack to it. Bam. I use one whole pack, only $1. Look at the color of that. Looks like a dark amber beer, huh? Super cool. Look at that. Perfect. I got a little bit here. Let's taste how sweet the honey and root beer taste together. Oh yeah, lots of honey, lots of root beer taste. Hopefully it kind of keeps that residual. It'll be kind of cool. That's really cool. I'm going to go ahead and put my lid on this. We'll give it the jostle. This is your opportunity to drink, right? Get that yeast mixed up in there a little bit. Keep those sugars. And I'm going to put my balloon on it for my airlock. Super easy, man. We just made a root beer mead. The easiest way, remember, we try to make things very simple here for everybody to try and experiment many different things. One thing that I'm going to show you right now, right? Now that this is done, right? This is what it looks like when you're almost finished. That this was a clover mead that we made. It's just 2 pounds or 2.5 pounds of honey and Yellow Star the yeast. And as you can see, the leaves at the bottom are starting to drop, and it's clear in the back, right? That you can see my hand and stuff through. This is how you know that this is a good time to start doing a taste test to see if you need to back sweeten it or cold crash it. Cold crashing does not kill the yeast, but it drops all the yeast to the bottom, leaving the leaves. So you can start taking the stuff out of it. So right here, I'm gonna pull my balloon off. All right. I'm gonna finish off this. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to just take a sample of this to see if I want to back sweeten it now, cold crash it and back sweeten it, or just cold crash it and then rack it and set it over. Now, I'm only taking a little bit, and you can see how clear that is, right? That basically what we've done is we've just poured off the top of this a little bit, and it's super clear. Has a good honey smell to it. Oh man, going to cold crash this. That 2.5 pounds of honey. This was roughly started. Keep your tags and your identification, right? I'll let you know when this was started, and I'll let you know the date today. This was done December 18th, 2018, and today's date is March 4th, 2019. So that's basically January, February, and a little bit of March. So we're looking at 2.5 months, a little more than 60 some days, right? And I'm really pleased with this, right? So this was just our regular clover honey mead that we did. And in 60 days, man, it's cleared up enough to where it looks really good where we could cold crash this. Cold crashing is where I'm going to put my balloon back on. All right, so I got a new balloon. That way nothing gets in there. We don't want anything to get in there while we're doing this, anything floating around to kind of contaminate what we're doing, right? Because now the fermentation isn't blowing out air, things are able to get in it. So we're just going to put this in there, and I'm going to put this in my refrigerator for about, I don't know, 48 hours to 3 days. It's going to make the yeast go dormant and sit down at the bottom. When that all sits down at the bottom, I take one of these. This is a pump racking cane. I get another jug. I put this in and I'll pump it across into that other jug, leaving the lees at the bottom. I will then probably cold crash it one more time to get everything down to the bottom and do that one more time, clearing this up even more, but leaving the lees at the bottom so that way I can pour and bottle. So I've done this now. This is really cool. This is really good. I'm super enjoying this. Man, super good. But now I'm going to show you the next part. This was a hibiscus that we made. It's been cold crashed and racked twice. It has no lees at the bottom. It's got a good color. I can see through it. When I hold it up to the light, it's got a good purple color to it. I don't know if you can see that it's all good and clear. But basically, this is our hibiscus that we made. So I'm going to pull the balloon off of it. Let's take a look at this. Look at that color, huh? Good clear. It's all clear. It's got some good legs. Man, I can't describe the smell. But man, that's cleared up really good. It's got some good color. I wish you could, hopefully you can see that's all cleared up. This is after cold crashing, racking, cold crashing another time and racking, and there's nothing at the bottom, which makes it super easy to do some cool stuff. So I'm just going to give you a demonstration of why it's so cool. Is I could take this stuff right here in my funnel, fill more container. I'm not publicizing anybody or doing anything with it, but I'm just going to let you know I use fill more container with a sealable twist cap for bottling, and then I heat shrink seal it. But basically, now that I've got it down to there's nothing there, I don't have to use a racking cane and all kinds of stuff. That I've got it all separated and ready to go. That I'm able to just take this. Just like that. Just like kind of like your honey jars, if you're a beekeeper, when you cinch it down, the cap seals and sits on it. But look at that, huh? Look at that pretty color, right? Dark, kind of a purplish color. Man, that's really super good. This is ready for a heat shrink wrap and a label. And I mean, it's super clear and ready to go. So you're looking at about to make a good clear mead without filtration, lots of additives and stuff. You're looking at 90 days. 30 days worth of fermentation, 30 days with it sitting letting the leaves drop, and usually maybe about another 10 to 20 days to let it clear up enough after doing that to get it to where it's like this, right? Another good reason to keep your lids for your jug. I could even bottle age this just like this, how it is. Bam! It's all ready to go to serve at a party or to have samples as you go. I mean, hopefully that you guys can see how easy that was, that we made a root beer mead, that in 60 days it would clear up enough to where I could start clove crashing it and getting the leaves to drop. Doing that twice, I get a good clear product that I'm able to try and sample. Man, just a little bit of time makes a big difference, man. Super great. This is hibiscus. So I was able to do a couple different meats today. Try them. You can transfer them around. Really easy to do. Had a lot of questions about how I do stuff like that. And I was just kind of showing you how we do it. That we're making the meads. Now you're seeing some final phases of how we're doing stuff. Hopefully this has been a lot of help. And hopefully you're enjoying the series that we're doing. That I'm Michael Jordan with AB Friendly Company out of Cheyenne, Wyoming, with the little B. You're down at the Underground Meadery, and we're showing you how to brew fine meads. And sometimes we talk about good things about beekeeping. Like this, share this, subscribe. We would like more people to join in and try to do us meads. Ask us some questions. Ask us about how some of the meads you want to do. That we'll be doing some more. Some crazy meads that you'll be seeing. Some pineapples. Maybe another one we call Alien Pea. Making it with Mountain Dew and some stuff. We've tried different kinds of honeys. The next one we'll probably be doing will be really cool for you because we like to try to compare honeys. That we've done a clover honey, we've done a buckwheat honey. So it's a good time to add another honey so you compare what kind of honeys that you like for your straight meads. Man, I can't tell you that I'm enjoying this, and I'm glad that you're tuning in. Share, like, subscribe, get your family involved like I have with my son. But we hope that you enjoy all this, and thanks for tuning in and join us making a fine mead.